This year, SAC's top missile men entered competition for the first time to determine the command's best missile wing, combat crew, and target alignment team. The SAC Missile Combat Competition took place April 3rd through April 7th at Vandenberg Air Force Base, California. Registration was completed the last week in March. The participants were 2 combat crews and 1 target alignment team from each of the 6 Minuteman and 3 Titan II wings. Commanders of the 9 missile wings drew envelopes designating specific competition exercise times. The envelopes were drawn from the Blanchard Perpetual Trophy, named for General William M. Blanchard, the late Air Force Vice Chief of Staff. Although no missiles were launched during the competition, combat crews matched skills in 3 missile trainer exercises, while each target alignment team aligned 1 missile at a Vandenberg Air Force Base silo. The competition had 4 objectives: to increase recognition of outstanding personnel and wings, promote exchange of professional information, refine, wherever possible, present operations and maintenance procedures and techniques, and enhance esprit de corps throughout the SAC missile force. Each target alignment team had to meet stringent performance requirements. They got 1 chance only to demonstrate their proficiency. Deploying to a Minuteman or Titan II silo, the 3-man team had only a few hours to assure that the missile was precisely located at the point of origin, which must be exact if the missile is to be accurate downrange. This alignment is comparable to aiming a bullet from a hollow iron tube barely longer than the bullet. The silo has no effect on the aiming of the missile. The missile must be precisely aimed before launch. Errors are measured in arc seconds. 1 arc second is equal to 1/3600th of 1 degree. An error of 1 arc second at launch moves the impact point 100 feet, 5,000 miles downrange. As the competition got underway, the missile launch crews began the first of their 2-hour exercises. The trainers are identical in every respect to an actual launch control center with 1 exception. Instead of a silo with missile ready, the capsules connect to a control room where evaluators generate problems and monitor every crew action. During the 3 2-hour exercise periods, the launch control crews were given all the problems and emergencies they might expect to face during a 2-year tour of duty. This time compression technique was chosen to inject the necessary competitive element into the launch control center operation. This Titan II crew is from the 308th Strategic Missile Wing, Little Rock Air Force Base, Arkansas. As the results began coming in, the spectators watched the postings on the scoreboard in competition headquarters. Meanwhile, crew competition continued in the trainers. These are members of the 351st Strategic Missile Wing, Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, a Minuteman crew. Each of the problems encountered by the crews was assigned a certain point value, determined by the degree of difficulty and importance of the problem. Some 30 different problems were introduced to evaluate crew reactions to emergency war orders, missile site emergencies, and equipment malfunctions. In addition, each problem was assigned a baseline completion time. Points were deducted for exceeding this baseline time and for procedural deviations based on the criteria established in SAC manuals. A perfect point score for each crew for all 3 exercises was 1,000 points. For a target alignment team, 600 points. Possible wing total for the competition was 2,600 points. Score posting continued as the final figures came in from the trainers. Since the various elements of the exercise were conducted at various times, the scoreboard did not always reflect the leading teams and crews. It was necessary to know which crews had completed certain phases of the exercise. Finally, totals in the various categories for all units were posted, and the winning teams were known. On April 7, 1967, the award ceremony was held at competition headquarters. General Joseph J. Nazaro, SAC Commander-in-Chief, summed up the competition and praised the teams for their performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed with the presentation of awards, there are a few thoughts I'd like to express. First, I'd like to congratulate all those who participated in the competition. I want to congratulate them, first, for having survived the competition that was locally run and the evaluations in order to have the opportunity to represent their wings here. Secondly, I want to congratulate them for what I think was a superb performance they demonstrated this last week. For the benefit of those of you who are not in SAC, even though we had all our attention focused on these crews this week, the way I see them, they are typical of all the people we have in SAC. I'm referring to the dedicated and professional missile crews throughout SAC, the tracking alignment teams, the bomber crews, the tanker crews, all the maintenance personnel, and the support personnel. The purpose of this competition was twofold. The obvious one to you was to select the best wing, the best crews, the best tracking alignment teams. We had an ulterior objective, too. Many of you know that for the last 20 years, we run a SAC bombing competition. We've gotten many rewards from this. In fact, it was from the suggestions and ideas presented by the crewmen and their commanders that we improved their training programs. We improved their training procedures. We raised the standards. In fact, we got appreciably better bombing and navigation capabilities. These things are being demonstrated in Southeast Asia today. It's this subtle thing that we want as a longer range objective out of a missile crew competition. And we hope the next years can be tougher and better. General Rader, I want to thank you for the support that your people gave. I want to thank Colonel Yater for the fine and fair way he ran the competition. I think they generated an environment that permitted the crews to develop an esprit, at least it was reflected to me. I noticed last night quite a bit of exchange of ideas among people. I also noticed a little exchange of a few bucks. I think that's fine. It's part and parcel of what we think is a good week's competition. Those of you who are here, win or lose, you can take pride in two things. First, you set pretty high standards for those who follow you. You establish a pretty good goal. To me, it aptly reflects the type of crewmen we have that are monitoring our missile weapon systems today. Without any further ado, I'll ask Colonel Yater to get to the climax of this.
The 308th Strategic Missile Wing won Best Maintenance Team and Best Titan Maintenance Team. The 390th Strategic Missile Wing won Best Titan Crew. The 381st Strategic Missile Wing, McConnell Air Force Base, Kansas, won Best Titan Wing. The Blanchard Trophy went to the 351st Strategic Missile Wing, Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, with a total of 2,387 points out of a possible 2,600. In addition, they were named the Best Minuteman Wing, Best Missile Crew, Best Minuteman Crew, and Best Minuteman Maintenance Team. The first SAC combat missile competition achieved all its goals. It was termed a complete success.